Hello, Snarky Squad. Welcome back to the Snarky in the Suburbs podcast. If you're a first-time listener, well, I'm excited to have you here. Okay, today's podcast is going to be fun. We have a Dear Snarky letter that I had to get advice for. I had to seek advice upon answering this letter. So you know that's going to be good when I have to do that. My peeve is parents who parade their kids' disappointment on social media. It's a huge peeve for me. My observation, Halloween costumes, but not in the way you might think. You could be saying, girl, you just went off on Halloween decorations. Is it going to be the same thing with Halloween costumes? No, please. I take pride in my podcast. And then in the confession, the confession from the Snarky confessional involves sleepovers. So I'll just leave that there to marinate. Let's first go to the Dear Snarky letter. And if you're watching, my hair's crazy, and I'm going to tell you why. If you're like, why does your hair look gray? I had to use copious amounts of dry shampoo. Not because my hair isn't clean, is that I used too much, I did a deep conditioning mask, and apparently I didn't get it all out. My hair's a greasy mess. So dry shampoo to the rescue. Sorry for all the white stuff. I thought I got it out, but apparently I did not. Okay, now let's go to the Snarky letter. I can't wait to see what you guys think. Here we go. Dear Snarky, my husband and I are both in our late 60s. When our only daughter got engaged, we told her that we could buy her a modest starter home or pay for her wedding, but we were not going to do both. She very smartly, my husband and I thought, chose the home. We bought her a lovely little house and put it in her name so she would own it outright. Now, 8 months later, we have found out that she has borrowed against the home to pay for a very expensive wedding. When we talked to our daughter about this, she was very dismissive of us and said we gave her the home, it's in her name, so she can do whatever she wants with it. And she wanted to use some of the equity to get the wedding of her dreams. My husband and I are shocked and disappointed that our daughter manipulated us in this way, and we don't feel like we should go to her wedding because it would be a slap in the face to both of us. My concern is that if we do this, our relationship might never recover, and I don't want this to happen. What do you think is the right thing to do? Protest our daughter's manipulation of us by not attending her wedding or going to her wedding, even though, in my husband's words, our daughter played us. Signed, I don't want to make the wrong decision. Okay, let's just lay it all out, okay? Take all this drama, all this emotion out of it. You told your daughter you could get her home or pay for the wedding. She said, yeah, get me that home. Then it's all in her name, okay? She can do whatever she wants with it. It's her home. She does not have to ask you permission about the home because it is hers now. It is in her name. The fact that then she decided to use the equity in her home, that is all paid off, by the way. Yikes, that has to be amazing. To finance her wedding is, if you look at it from a non-emotional viewpoint, none of your business because it's her home. She can do whatever she wants. So I think you and your husband are very mad that your daughter outsmarted you. I mean, quite frankly, that is what she did. She outsmarted you. She wanted a house and a wedding, and she's by getting the house and taking equity out of it, she got both. So I think you're butthurt that she totally outsmarted you. So I talked to a financial expert. And he says the fault is yours. He goes, don't be mad at the daughter. Be mad at yourself. He said the house should have been put in a trust for the daughter's benefit, and or you should have had joint ownership of the home with 2 signatures required for borrowing any money against the equity in the home. And he says that's just for starters. He calls the daughter getting a HELOC or taking equity out of the home, he, quote, brilliant, because the daughter maneuvered it so she got a house and the wedding. So she wins. So there's things you could have done to make sure that wouldn't happen, but you didn't. So that's on you. And which means your daughter can do whatever she wanted. So let's really think about this. Are you really mad and think, oh, we got manipulated, blah, blah, blah? Or are you just pissed off that your daughter truly outsmarted you? She didn't outmaneuver. She outsmarted you and your husband. And, people say this a lot, and sometimes I disagree with it. But once you give a gift, it's a gift. You gave that daughter the home. It's in her name. She can do whatever she wants. Maybe she was going to take money out and do a gut job on the home or something. That is her business. You do not own the home. You cannot tell her what she can do with the home. So get over it. Get over it. Are you upset because you don't think her taking equity out and then spending it, or probably you think wasting it on a big wedding is a smart financial move? Again, that is none of your business. It is not your problem. As for going or not going to the wedding, you need to buy a really pretty dress, and you and your husband need to go to the wedding. You need to get involved, like with the wedding. What can I do to help? Not money-wise, but, mommy-wise, and be excited that your daughter's getting married. This has to be water under the bridge. This is my opinion. This has to be water under the bridge where you say, you did it. We don't like it. None of our business. My daughter's getting married. My God, I'm excited about it. And be a mother of the bride. And, maybe your husband's going to, walk your daughter down the aisle or not. I don't know. But for you to have a tantrum and not go to your daughter's wedding, you're not joking when you're afraid that it will affect your relationship and it's never going to recover. Oh, honey, it's never going to recover. It is never going to recover. So realize your daughter's an adult. You gave her a gift. She can do what she wants with it. She did what she wanted. And go to the wedding and be a mom. Go to the wedding. I don't know what your history is with your daughter. I don't know if she's a history of manipulating you or whatever. And if she does, then you should have done what this financial guy said. Put it in a trust for the daughter's benefit. So, if even the finance guy thinks you messed up, like it was on you, if you wanted to be that controlling of the house, you should have put some, protection in place. Let her have a wedding. It's done. It is done. Let her have a wedding. And she sounds really smart. So maybe, she'll plow money back, into that like HELOC, pay it back really quick, and it won't be anybody's business. But my advice is, for God's sakes, go to the wedding. Be a fun mother of the bride, a happy mother of the bride. Be happy for your daughter. You're an adult, okay? You're not going to stay at home and pout. You're not going to try to take away from your daughter's day. You're not going to do any of that because you're a grown-up and you are going to have grown-up behavior. And realize she got her house and she got her big wedding, and that's her business. Because when you said, we'll give you a house or a wedding, and she chose the house, there weren't any stipulations. And if we give you the house, you can't borrow against it at all. You didn't say that. So she did it. Get over it. Keep me updated. I'm serious. Get over it. And I honestly think that you guys are just really pissed off that your daughter outsmarted both of you. That's what I think. And you tell your husband to get a suit or a tux or whatever the wedding requires, and get your attitudes in gear and go celebrate your daughter. It is a life milestone, and you guys don't need to crap all over it because you're mad. That's my advice. People in the comments, let me know what you think. You may disagree with me, and as always, I welcome disagreements. Unless they're super hateful, and then I don't welcome that. No one does. We're a snarky community. We don't go there. All right, that's it. Okay, sorry. Itchy nose. Okay, that's the letter. When I was talking to this financial expert, he laughed. Y'all. Said, oh my gosh. He goes, that daughter's smart. He said, like I said, he used the word brilliant. And she didn't play her parents. She just knew, I'll get the house, and then I'll take money off the house and I'll get the wedding so I can have both. So don't be mad that your daughter's quote unquote brilliant. Okay. Don't be mad about that. All right, let's move on to the peeve. Y'all, this I cannot get over. And every time I see it, I'm like, why is this happening? What am I seeing? Why are people in the comments not saying, hey, stop. Although there always are some comments like this. Okay, it is when, and I've only seen women do this, so I'm not discriminating. I'm sure dads do this too. Putting their child's disappointment on social media with the child there. The most recent one I saw, a mom was holding a child. They were both standing and the child had its face in the mom's side. How you hold your kid, bawling her eyes out because she was not invited to a birthday party. And this child's a twin, and her twin was invited to the birthday party. But they both are in different classes. So the girl who invited one twin and not the other invited the twin in her class and probably doesn't know the other twin. And the mom's just trying to teach her about disappointment, and I knew this would happen with twins. Get over it. childhood's full of disappointments. Does anyone not remember their own childhood? It's disappointment-orama. It's called growing up and experiencing disappointments. But, I mean, I can understand, like, telling your twin, okay, you weren't in that class, that little girl's having the party, doesn't know you, and that's okay, because you're going to get invited to stuff your sister's not invited to. And it's okay for y'all to have different, groups of friends and know different people. That's great. That's a conversation you have in the car, when the kid's telling you they're upset over it. But for the mom to put that on social media, to show her daughter visibly upset, and like try to get all these likes and comments. Oh, you're a good mama and blah, blah. No, you're a horrible mother, because a good mother would not put her kid experiencing a disappointment on social media. Or God for, I wouldn't doubt this, or manufacturing it and telling her kid, come in and hug me and then look like you're really sad. I'm sorry. I do not doubt that happens. Do I know if this mother did that? No. But we all know that happens. Come on. So much is fake. So, it's a huge peeve of mine. I do not understand why people do this. And then, there's just, oh God, I've seen so much moms, upset because, a kid went to a party, and usually involves parties and kids weren't nice to her and how you deal with that. Or, something happened at school, and it just they're showing a child, excuse me, my nose is really itching. Allergies are terrible this time of year. So showing a child upset and using that as fodder for content. No, keep your child off social media. And if you can't do that, okay, if you can't make content without your kids, making your kids work for you in your social media, if you can't do that, then, keep their disappointments, their very emotional moments of being a child off social media. Please do not try to monetize that and capitalize on that. It's terrible. To me, I think if you do that, your mom card, it's pulled. Your mom card gets pulled. It is the very basis of motherhood, is protecting your child. Why aren't you doing that? Why are you parading your child's emotional and sad moments on social media? And what I don't understand is there are people in the comments, and God love them, that go, why are you doing this? This is wrong. And then everybody else oh, you're such a good mama, or oh, this hurts so much. No, everyone should say, why are you doing this? And then click an unfollow. I mean, if anyone deserves a stern scold, it's parents that do this. It is absolutely horrible. I do not understand it. I will never understand it. Of course the mom's always in full glam, full makeup, comforting the child and stuff. It's just horrible. And people that, so much research has been done. Social media has been around long enough now. We're getting research, we're getting first person accounts of kids that are now adults, 18 and over, telling how social media, their parents parading them on social media just F them up, how bad it was. So we know this now. Research has been done. So why parents are still doing this, I do not understand. And I'm not talking about somebody that does a social media post and the kids are in the background, or they walk through, or whatever. I'm talking about literally using your child to create content. It's terrible. And you're violating one of the primary rules of being a mom. So I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. And let's be real here. Most people don't make a lot of money off of social media. So you could probably get a part-time job and make 10 times what you're making on your social media content. Ask me how I know. So, it's pennies, people. It's not a lot. Sure, you hear about the people that are making a gazillions and buying a beach home. You hear about that. But in reality, it's not that much. And it varies wildly. One month you make a bunch, the next month the algorithm just wasn't with you. It wasn't showing you any love, and you're making enough to get a frosty McDonald's Diet Coke. I say it's taking a sip. It's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And I stand by this. I think when some people's social media following gets low, or they've hit kind of a point where they're not getting as many followers, they get pregnant. I'm sorry. Because there's nothing like a pregnancy that will elevate your social media. You'll get brand deals, for all that kind of stuff because you're having a baby. Y'all, you can see it. You can watch this stuff and then you see that, oh, they're kind of, their following is kind of staggering. They're not showing up on my For You page as much, blah, blah, blah. Then, ta-da, someone's pregnant. And there you go. And, you got all that going on, which is like, I can't imagine a worse reason to have a child. But nevertheless, and I'm sure they love the child, all that kind of stuff. But it's gross. It's gross. And I have nothing but respect for people that keep their kids off social media. Hard on the face, whatever. I don't know. But just are not going to profit off their children and parade their children out there. And what do you think's going to happen when your kids get older and realize, like those teen years, okay, and realize that you put my most personal, upsetting, private moments on social media? We know what happens because we've seen kids, now adults, come back at their parents like, what? What? Yeah, how do you explain that? I would like to be in that conversation when you justify what you did to your child. I'd like to listen to that. So that is my rant. Parents who just parade and profit off their kids' disappointments or life lessons or whatever you want to call it. It's disgusting. And once again, the mom card should be pulled. Like, you're done. So it's wrong. It's very wrong. Let me know what you think. Once again, just my opinion that I shared with you. Okay, now we're going to move on to my observation. Y'all, this one also just makes me so mad. I have been mad about this for years. And then I think to myself, well, you know what? Things will change. Things will change. You can't do this anymore. Nerd costumes. Okay, the Halloween costume that is a nerd. N-E-R-D, the person, the nerd, not the candy, which is delicious. Okay, I'm sorry, I like nerds. I shouldn't. It's just all sugar. They're gross. A woman of my age should have more elevated taste. But girl, give me a nerd. I'm all over it. But no, the costume of a nerd. So it's the broken glasses taped in the middle, some bad hairdo, I don't know. It's like that's some t-shirt or something. Just the nerd costume. I don't get it. It is a form of bullying because you'll see kids wear their nerd costumes to school. Are you bullying the smart kids? I mean, it's not cool. Think of another costume you could wear that would reflect on another child that you would get away with. You're not going to, it's bullying. There are nerds at your school. To wear a costume like that is bullying. Plus, respect the nerd, okay? If I was going to do like a nerd costume, which I would never do, but people that do nerd costumes, you know what you should also do? Take Monopoly money and stuff it in all their pockets, okay? Staple it on a t-shirt. Just cover a t-shirt in money. Because to be a nerd, they're the most successful people I know. If I look at the quote nerds in my son's classes and in my daughter's classes, they're the ones making bank now, okay? They're the ones that went to like Ivy League colleges or public Ivies, have great jobs, are doctors, working for Morgan Stanley, hedge funding, whatever. Yeah, so if you're going to do a nerd costume, you go ahead and do it. Bad choice, though. You go ahead and do it as long as you cover everything in freaking money and Ivy League degrees. Just, put a diploma. Maybe, do your glasses with the tape on them and a Harvard t-shirt, okay? That would work for me. You could get away with that. And you cover it with money. It's stupid. And kids were doing this, oh gosh, 30 years ago. And then when I had kids, I would go to their school Halloween parade. They would do a Halloween parade. Everybody would show their costumes. You'd see a bunch of kids dressed as nerds. I'm like, no, this has to stop. I'm like, why is this okay? Why is this okay? And my son, big nerd. So I took it a little personally, thank you. Did he ever wear glasses? No. Did he wear glasses taped? No. This kid had nice clothing, thank you. Thank you very much. He enjoyed, his button-down shirts. He was a character. He also enjoyed hats and bow ties. So there you go. He wasn't wearing, glasses that are taped. So yeah, just do that. If you want to do a nerd costume, make sure you cover it with money because I don't understand how that's appropriate anymore. So it's bullying. It's just straight up bullying. So I don't like it, and I think schools should have no nerd costumes unless they're covered in money. And people are going to say, you don't understand a nerd. You're describing a geek, not a nerd. If anybody comes in the comments with that, not only will I delete your comment, but you will be blocked. And as longtime Snarky listeners know, this girl loves a block. I love a block. Block. So do that. Okay, do that. Let's not split it up. It means different things. I don't care what it means. It's a form of bullying and it's stupid. And nerds and geeks, whatever, should be respected because, AI, the nerd or geek did that, okay? Cures for various forms of cancer and stuff. Nerds or geeks did that. So respect the geek and the nerd. Stop with the ridiculous Halloween costumes. I don't like it. And I was at one of those Halloween superstores, not naming the one, and I saw one and it set me off again. So let's all think about that. Okay? All right. Good. All right. Now I want to move into my confession. Y'all, it is not the juiciest of confessions. Every confession can't be juicy. What am I doing? 2 confessions a week? 100 and something, 104 podcasts? That's 104 confessions a year. It's a lot, people. It's a lot. So I have a confession that I'm going to call wide-ranging in its juiciness. So my confession from the Snarky Confessional is about sleepovers, slumber parties. When you invite kids over to spend the night. I have always hated the sleepover. I have the slumber party, whatever you want to call it. As a mom, I freaking hated it. I wanted my kids in their own beds at night. If someone wanted to invite my kids over till 11, I picked up at 11, they slept in their own beds, great. Did I ever do that? No, because I'm a sucker and I'm a follower. The whole time I was a mom with kids, young kids, I allowed the sleepover. My son, thank God, did not enjoy a sleepover, and he said, I'll go, but I would like to be picked up by 11. So, yeah, nerd/geek. They want to be home in their own beds with their books. Okay, but my daughter, slumber party sleepover fiend, loved it. And if you are going to let your daughter go to someone's house to sleep over, then you have to host slumber parties. I hosted so many slumber parties, 15 girls all spread out, all that kind of stuff. And I hated every minute of it. Absolutely hated every single minute of it. If the slumber party started at 7, I was counting down the hours until their parents picked them up. Although, we did it all. We did manis. We did petties. We did funny face pancakes. We went out for this. It was a scene. It was a scene. But I absolutely hate slumber parties, sleepovers, whatever. I don't like them. And then imagine my joy, really joy radiating through me when a couple years ago, I would read on social media where parents were pushing back. They're like, no, we don't do slumber parties or sleepovers. Their reason, of course, was safety. Although I will note that, bad things happen. For sure, I get that. But I think because of social media, we amp up that more bad things are happening. Statistically, it's about the same in some areas, but whatever, I was like, well, that's one way to stop a sleepover. And you know what? Here's the deal. I loved my daughter's friends, okay? But there was always a fight, or you always had to have an even number. And God forbid you don't ever have 3 little girls at your house, okay? You don't have your daughter and 2 friends. Never, ever, ever. Because 2 girls will go against the 1. It's got to be an even number. That was my rule. You can have how many people you want, but it's got to be an even number. And even she just wanted to have Sally and Susie over. I'm like, that's 3. Invite someone else or tell Sally she's not coming, or Susie, because I did not do odd numbers. The girls would turn on each other. So here's the deal. So I find out, sleepover, did all that slumber party stuff, and then there's this mom, and she was the no slumber party mom. She did not do slumber parties at all. She had 3 daughters, no sleepovers, nothing. And people kind of made fun of her. And I am standing in the corner looking at her in awe. And I'm like, oh my God, she had the balls, the kahunas to go, no sleepovers. My girls aren't doing it. They can come to your house, but I will be picking them up at 11. Oh my God, she's a genius. Nor did she host any sleepovers. Again, love that. She also was a little weird though, and this is where she lost people. Sorry, got my nose. Okay, this is where she lost people. She would not let her daughters go to anyone's house where there were boys. So her daughters could not come to my house because I had a son. Did I care? No. I figured this woman had had some trauma in her life, and that was it. I mean, something happened. So I respected that. I go, that's fine. My daughter wasn't super good friends with any of her daughters. She did go over their house occasionally for play dates, but I'm like, that's fine. I can't reciprocate. So I would go, can I take them to a movie? Something like that. I understood. I didn't fight. But people gossip about this mom. Oh, can you believe that? Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, She's on to something, okay? She's on to the no sleepover slumber party thing, like 100%. So, I always felt bad that I did not have this woman's back, like 100% did not have it. I mean, I was secretly agreeing with her and in awe that she just stood firm and that her kids weren't doing sleepovers. And I would sit back and go, oh my God, it just frees up so much of your time. I mean, to have a sleepover, it's like so much food. Not that it matters, but you got to plan activities, especially at a certain age. When they're teenagers, it's different. But you have to plan activities. There's got to be a couple of crafts. There's got to be stuff to entertain them. If they watch anything, you have to make sure that it's parent approved. Some moms would collect, because kids, even at this, daughters in 5th grade, had cell phones and that kind of stuff. You don't want a kid on a cell phone. It's a lot. I didn't care for it at all. So I was secretly like, oh, God, this woman's a genius, and we as mothers should be like having a parade for her, like carrying her on our shoulders, saying hip, hip, hooray, but yet we're just talking smack about her behind her back, thinking she's a freak. Not a freak. She was the smartest mom in the group. So, one day, I finally had to say something. I finally decided, I'm going to have to stick up for this mom instead of just being like, quiet and secretly worshiping her, that, she doesn't have to have a sleepover, worship and jealous that she doesn't have to go through all this. And so moms were like talking smack. Well, can you believe it? And a couple moms had sons and they were very offended that, she couldn't have one of like the little girls to their house because there's a son. So I go, I'm sure there's some trauma involved or something. I'm like, who cares? Do something else. It's no big deal. And I was, afraid that they, might come for me. But I shouldn't have been afraid because it happened, of course. I shouldn't have feared it. I should have accepted. So then they come for me. Like I'm now all of a sudden like the no sleepover person. I'm like, no, my daughter can have sleepovers. I go, because I'm a wimp and I'm just going to go with like the crowd and say, yes, she can have sleepovers. But I'm telling you, this mom is the right idea. I finally went off on one of my classic rants. I go, why are we doing this to ourselves? 11 o'clock, we should be telling parents, yeah, come in their pajamas. They can have a little slumber party, eat some food. 10 o'clock. Get your kid out of here. There is nothing nicer than as a mom going to bed and closing your eyes and knowing that all your kids are home in their beds, safe and sound. I love it. I don't like waking up to like a bunch of other kids and having to make like 10 different meals because everyone had different things that they would or would not eat. Like little Susie, her mom's picking up for soccer practice. So she has to have lots of protein, and then, people are like gluten-free, which is fine. I was always ready for that. But, some kids will eat this, some won't. You're like, I don't need it. I like to go to bed knowing my kids are home in their beds. And I like to wake up knowing I'm waking up to my 2 kids and my husband, and that's it. And my pets. That's it. I don't have to like become a short order cook. I know I sound terrible. I sound like a no fun mom, a bad mom, but literally I'm up to something or on to something. And all these moms that are now like no sleepovers, oh, you're so smart. And then there's the other side, which I've noticed in social media, that they go, I can't believe that you wouldn't let your kids have sleepovers, and it's such an important part of childhood, and I remember my sleepovers, and, somebody said sleepovers made them who they are. Okay. Think about what you just said. Sit with that, all right? We don't need sleepovers. We don't need it. So when finally I was like, decided I wasn't going to be a little wimp and actually go, this mom's right, say all that, moms turn on me as to be expected, but even worse, the no sleepover mom doesn't have my back because I guess she just liked being out on an island by herself and she didn't need a little partner in crime, okay? She didn't need a helper. She was just like, no. So I was out there and then people go, well, does this mean blah, blah, your daughter can't come to like, Natalie's birthday party? And I'm like, no, she can come. I'm just saying she's not wrong. So it was a big thing. Then I think my daughter I think my daughter didn't get some invitations after I went on like, the no sleepover. And to that I say, yay me, honestly. And to go back to my peeve, it's always a full snarky circle. That the parents who parade their child's disappointment on social media, you're fools, what you should be doing, and it works every single time. So my daughter's not invited to a sleepover because her mommy has a big mouth. Okay, so you know what you do? You're like, we're going to do something fun. We would go to Justice. Remember Justice, y'all? Those terrible clothes. We're going to go to Justice. We'll get something cute. Then we'll go, for dinner. You just throw something at them that's fun. they're easily distracted and they're like, oh, that sounds better than the sleepover because I'm getting something. That's what you do. You don't go on social media and have your kid crying and talk about how sad it is. You say, okay, we're going to go do something fun. We're going to go shopping. We're going to go to dinner. It's going to be great. Who needs that party? It sounds bad anyways. Whatever. You just go do something fun. So the moral of this confession is I finally wasn't, in the corner agreeing with someone but not saying anything. I finally decided it was time for me to step up and say something. Of course it blew up. The person I was defending, I guess, didn't like me defending her. Probably was like, ooh, no, I'm okay by myself. Thank you. And then the people I sat in front of just thought, well, I guess we're not going to fight your daughter at any more parties. And I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying, let's consider the bigger point. She could be right. So it all backfired in my face. And didn't let it get me down. Sort of. I was worried about my daughter. She seems fine. But I'm just telling you that it is a great idea. And more parents should get on the bandwagon. And parents that go like sleepovers were defining parts of growing up. No, they're not. They're huge pains in the butts, okay? They are always associated with a lot of drama, okay? And a lot of work for the mom. So I think there should be nothing wrong. We should normalize on a Friday or Saturday night, wanting your kids in their own damn beds. So when you as a mama close your eyes, everything is right with your world. Okay, that's my confession. I stayed in the corner, kept my mouth shut, finally said something, blew up in my face, and you know what? It happened a lot to me. It's like, what else is new? You're not doing the right thing. You're like, I'm going to do the right thing. And then you think, why did I do the right thing? But then, looking back years later, I'm like, I'm glad I finally did the right thing. Okay, confession over. Let me know what you think of sleepovers, because I kind of feel like I'm in an island out there about that. Although, until I see people post on social media, I'm like, see, other people think this. It's not a bad thing at all. Your kids get a lot of, if you have girls or whatever, kids come and stay at your house till 10:30 in their pajamas, you run around, do fun stuff. It's okay if they sleep at their own house. For everybody, for everyone concerned. All right, that's all I've got. That is the Snarky Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh my God. My books. Okay, in October, we're doing a question about books. Questions I get about my books. Okay, a question I get a lot about Empty. And it is about a group of women in their 50s, had great lives, and all of a sudden, each had a different circumstance in their life when the rug got pulled out from under them. They have no money. Two of them have no place to live. To get money, they enter a drug trial facility for a new menopause drug. And they're like, okay, the only thing I'm worth is my waning estrogen level. That's the only thing that's worth any value. Plus, they have a roof over their head, 3 squares a day, because the menopause drug trial was 30 days. But they were going to get money afterwards. So these women become friends. They never would have become friends otherwise. And they go on a whole revenge scenario. And it's fun. It's so much fun. It's based in Southern California, and that's the question I got. Why did you base a book in Southern California? Because your snarky books, one's based in Texas when the snarky character goes visit her mom. The other ones are based in like a generic Midwest town. So, and the reason is that my daughter was going to school in Southern California, and of course I would visit her a lot, and I just became enamored with the women of Orange County. The Real Housewives of Orange County, like spot on. It was fascinating to me just how everyone, and I know this is a cliche, everyone looked the same. I mean, it's like everyone had the same color blonde. Everyone had the lashes. Everyone had the same kind of nails. And I found all that fascinating. So I wanted to set a book there where there was like a certain level of perfection if you're a woman. Talk about not like being able to get old. And there's a certain level of like your money, like showing off your money, that kind of stuff. In a very expensive place. So that's why I said it there. Also gave me some freedom because these characters are not the snarky characters that a lot of you reading my books have known to love. So it was like a new set of characters I could work with. I've got another book with these characters in my brain, but I have to finish the book I'm working on before I start on another book with these characters. So anyways, that is that explanation. Now, my daughter urges me to tell you every single podcast, go to YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you're on Spotify sends me like a stern scold. I go, for the number of listeners you have, you don't have the correct amount of followers. You're low on Spotify followers based on your listeners. So if you're on Spotify, freaking follow me so I don't get stern scolds beating down my self-esteem from Spotify. I don't know, whatever bot's doing that, it's a mean girl bot, because I was like, that hurts my feelings. So please do that. And in the show description, there's a link to my books. You can get paperbacks, ebooks, audiobooks, the whole 9 yards. Plus you can go like listen to an audiobook and you go, oh yeah, that sounds good. Or you can like, read some of it so you can make sure that's my jam. I want it. Oh, I guarantee you it's your jam. So please do that. And thank you to everyone. Oh my God, I forgot to do this. So 2 podcasts ago, I said, can someone write me a new updated review? Because I haven't had one since August. Y'all, so many of you wrote me updated reviews and thank you so much. No, really, thank you. Like, I was like, yay! I really appreciate that. So thanks for staying with me. Looking to do a podcast that comes out Friday. If my week does not get crazy, I'm shooting every week to do 2 snarky podcasts. So thank you all very, very much. And to everyone that listened till the end, you are the true snarky squad people, okay? You are the faithfuls. You're in the inner snarky squad. Those people that check out after 16 minutes, sure, they're in the squad, but they're not you. You're the best. So go out there and have a day that is befitting of your greatness, your fabulousness. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.